All right, so welcome back, everyone. Buffalo, outside of Buffalo, wherever you're coming from, this was a big weekend. And why? Because the new Bills Stadium finally opened. We've been waiting 2+ years for this. It has been so long in the making. I couldn't even believe it. So, what happened this weekend? We had the practice scrimmage. So traditionally, this is an opportunity for mostly people to come in and bring their kids. It was a big kid event. But this year it was the first opportunity that people could have to walk into the Bills Stadium and see it for the first time. Now, we've all been watching it from the outside. We've all gotten the funny clips of Josh, in his tent sleeping and mocking, oh my gosh, Parks and Rec, Andy from Parks and Rec, and because they do kind of look and sound very similar and their personalities are on point. But this was the first opportunity for us to go in. So what did that look like? We mostly tailgate at the Twin Oaks lot, which is right next to the new stadium. There is a chain link fence in between us, and I really wish we could just put a little door in there and just walk right on through. But alas, we cannot. Short walk right around through the main gates, and it was glorious. So it looks amazing from the outside. When you first walk in, they do all of the security checkpoint, and that's outside. And then inside, so I'll say inside but outside. Outside in the elements, but inside beyond the checkpoint is where they do and have a lot of entertainment. So outside there are tables, there's souvenir shops. They even put new places where you can get like vendors for beer and food and snacks. So you can all hang out outside before going into the game. So there's a lot of that around, which I thought was very interesting and I wasn't expecting. We used to have, in the old stadium, small carts and things that with like the cooler of ice and, they could drag it in and out. These seem to be larger stations, almost like food trucks almost, where you can buy beer, drinks, sodas. I'm not sure if there's food outside at all. I think there is, but that's something that we have yet to see. And something that I haven't heard much comment about either. But personal experience, walking in, it was very fun, very grand entrance with the three big buffaloes out front. It's definitely a sight to see. And as a family, we went in. So in that outdoor concourse, we actually didn't get to go all the way around yet. That's something that we ran out of a little bit of time. We did have our little nugget Isla with us. So while we had a great time inside, we waited till afterwards to do the outside. And unfortunately, we picked the wrong time to leave because it started to rain and we got dumped on. We should have gone back into the stadium, but we wanted to fight the rain, I guess. So what did it have outside? It had a smaller turf field. It has a huge helmet for kids to take their picture inside of it. The turf field for kids to run on and play. Isla had a ball. There were so many kids out there just enjoying themselves. But it really is speaking to the, just more fun, more lighthearted, just more enjoyment.
Something that I learned that I didn't know was going to happen is that the exterior concourse of the stadium, the area that, you can get drinks and let the kids play outside and things like that, that is going to be open to the public. So you don't need to have tickets. You just have to go through security in order to go to those areas. So I think that's a really great aspect that they incorporated to get people more involved in the games, to get people more involved in the Mafia, to bring kids to be involved in the areas. I thought it was very cool and allows people to see the stadium, at least, from that standpoint, and walk around the exterior of what it has to offer.
So then when we go into the stadium, walk through security, again, to get our tickets scanned, you walk right in and it's big, it's loud, it's got just grabbing you in all directions. So our seats are in section 123 and we're right behind the big main bar. So that bar, when you walk right in, there's a huge main bar in the new stadium. We're right behind that. So it's super convenient. But they seem to have everything that you could imagine in there, which is really nice because, as adults, Many people now are drinking a lot of different beverages, but for kids, they also have a lot of options as well. So Isla, came to this day. She's going to go to the preseason game on Saturday, but we're not going to take her to any home games. She's a little too young for that, in my opinion, but other people do bring their kids, which I think it's important. And there's a lot of aspects that do gear towards family and kids in the new stadium. So walking in, where are our eyes drawn to? So obviously the stadium right in front of you, it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. Someone asked me, what do you think about the blue and red chairs? Well, our seats, we have one of each, and I like how it just gives a different look. It's just gives a little bit of depth to everything instead of having everything right the same. Our view was on point with what we had the AI generated version back a year and a half ago now when we chose our seats. It was almost 1-for-1 what we were supposed to get and what we actually got. So we were very, very happy. So no complaints about that. I know a lot of other people had complaints that it wasn't the same. I don't know how true that is. A lot of it seems to be in the 400s and the upper. I don't know how true that is that they didn't get exactly what they were promised. So I can't speak to that. I can only speak to ours, and I'm thrilled. Can't be more excited.
Really like that behind each section of the stadium there is standing room with a bar top so you could put snacks and drinks. What I didn't know was going to happen though is that they were going to sell 10 tickets per section of standing room to watch the games. But it still allows for us as season ticket holders to stand back there and enjoy getting out of the weather or stretching our legs.
I'm not sure how we feel about that, to be totally honest. I kind of wish they didn't sell tickets for that, but I think that's their way of making up for the fact that they built a huge brand new stadium and there's less seats than in the old stadium. So I think they're trying to make up for that a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Still seems like there's plenty of room for everything. Now, what I really love is that we're walking around the stadium. There is so many different platforms and places to stand to see the game. But they have really improved upon what I think their handicap section, for those with wheelchairs and those that can't go downstairs very well, the handicap sections are excellent. I think that they are in a much better position than they were in the old stadium. So I think that's a huge benefit. A negative on that aspect though is that I heard that the gorgeous bathrooms that they are, the handicap bathrooms, the doors are super heavy. I had a friend that went to use one and it was really heavy for her to open. So I'm not sure how easy that is for someone in that needs the handicap bathroom to utilize. So it's something to think about. Maybe Bills, something to improve upon a little bit. On the other end, totally diverting into the bathroom scenario. At first, it took us forever to find a bathroom. Like, I thought someone forgot to put in the bathrooms. Total honesty. Well, what I didn't realize is that when we first walked in, for example, there was an alcove to our left, and a huge tunnel, and it had the women's room, the men's room, the handicap bathrooms, and family bathrooms. But when you're walking just inside the stadium, you don't see that. There isn't a sign on the exterior of that hallway alcove that says bathrooms, bathrooms, bathrooms. So it took a while for us to realize that we had already passed 2 or 3 bathrooms before we found one that was right in the hallway, where the vendors are and everything, that said women's and men's. So we had passed 2 or 3 at least before we realized it. But the bathrooms, phenomenal, huge. I don't know, 50 stalls in a women's bathroom. Obviously, I wasn't in the men's, so I can't speak to that. But the women's bathroom's gorgeous. Walk-in stalls all the way through, and then you continue and make a huge loop, and then there's all of the hand washing stations. Everything's gorgeous. Kids changing tables, which I really appreciate as a mom. But what I really like also is that they had the family bathrooms. So the family bathrooms, Adam and I were standing there. We were about to leave and we wanted to go to the bathroom and change Isla and all that stuff. And we're like, oh, okay, you go and then I'll go and then we'll change Isla, blah, blah, blah. And we realized there was a family bathroom. Plenty of room, new changing tables in there, very clean. Obviously, I would hope it's clean because it's a brand new stadium, but super convenient. Again, I don't plan on bringing my daughter at this age many times over, but I think it's a really big benefit. And especially if you have a kid, maybe even 10 years old, you don't want to send her in the bathroom by herself. If you're a dad bringing your daughter, or, you know, a mom bringing her son, go in together, safety reasons, you know, all the way around. So applaud on that. Really happy about that. But going back out to the, you know, events within the hallways of the stadium, food, drink, everything you can imagine. I really love that they had different stations within the, or different, they had different like food stations or restaurants within that were named after places in Buffalo. So they had the Old First Ward as one of them, Town, Black Rock. These are all places in the city of Buffalo. So it was just funny to see all of those, and I thought very clever. So, and all of them had different food, I think based more on like the predominant culture of that area. But like they had like beef on wick at one place, and then another place they had, you know, wings, fingers, and fries. And another place they had ice cream and coffee and this. So it was themed all the way around, which was really nice. And the food seemed really good. We ended up going to one of the concessions that had food that you could go up and grab. Now, this was super interesting. I don't know how many of you experienced this. So when we had gone around, Adam found this place. He's like, they have a lot, but, you know, he's like, they have to scan your credit card for you to go in. Seems a little weird to me. So we asked the woman outside, and outside, standing right in front of the like scanners, she said, you scan your card, it charges you or holds $30. And then you go in, grab whatever you want, and the AI with the cameras sees what you bought and that you're holding onto when you leave and charges you for that amount. So if it's less than 30, it will refund you the remainder. If you go in and you don't buy anything, it will give you your whole $30 back. If you go in and buy more than $30 worth, it will charge you appropriately, but it holds a $30 on there. Now, I was thinking about this. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, but I also think about the old stadium, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you just go up and grab like fries and you just want to go in, and like you're waiting in this line for people to scan their own stuff and blah, 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 blah. You know, it was really quick, in and out. We grabbed a water, Adam grabbed a beer, we grabbed fries, a burger, and a hot dog. And with Isla, and we walked out, and it did charge us appropriately. You know, we're all using AI more and more these days, so I mean, it's becoming more and more a part of our life. Now, this was not every area of concessions. I just want to make that clear. I was only aware of this one that did it like this. I'm not sure as of right now if there are more, but a lot of them just had the regular transaction where you go up, get what you want, and then you pay for it. So I'm kind of interested to see how that plays a role, and if it is actually as accurate. I mean, I can't imagine that it wouldn't be, because it would really cause a huge issue. But I liked that, you know, you walked in the gate, you did scan your credit card. I don't know how it would work if you had cash only. That's something I just thought about. How many people really carry that much cash? Usually they buy with their credit card anyways. You go up, grab your food, you walk out, and there's a gate to walk out. You know, super simple, but really interesting, really convenient. I kind of liked it after we went through it and did it ourselves. In that, they also, in that particular area, they also had coffee, ice cream, hot chocolate. So they really had everything, you know, for adults, kids, and everything in between. Around the stadium, they had the table that was broken, which is a huge feature that everyone's been seeing on Instagram and everything. It was really cool, very nice to see. They just had a bunch of stuff that was just very cultural. They had the Bills bus, just everything to make it known that this is the Bills house. This is it. All right. You're walking into Bills territory. But things that just are so unique to Buffalo that make us who we are. Everyone knows that everywhere we go, you know, white folding tables get sold out in that city because we jump through tables at tailgates. It is a mantra of the Mafia. And so here we are just representing it in our new house. The stadium was gorgeous. The seats were phenomenal. The staff, everyone around was happy to be there. I think everyone was happy to be there. We met some of our fellow season ticket holders behind us. And we're just really looking forward to this season. You know, it's a big change. Prices have definitely gone up in terms of tickets and PSLs and all those things. But you know what? We're excited. This is it. 2026. Go Bills. And we are headed to the preseason game on Saturday. So I will let you know how that ends up for us and what new things I do find coming up. But we're ready. Let's rock and roll. We need to get the best out of Josh Allen and everyone else in our crew right now, because this is the time. This is it. Go Bills. I'm Michelle Petrie, your Buffalo Realtor, keeping tabs on all things Buffalo so you don't have to.